All right, friends, it's been a minute, but let's do some unit conversions together. Now, if you are looking at this on pair assessment, you will have the conversion chart there in front of you. I don't, which is fine because I can pull it up super fast. But when I'm saying these, I don't have them memorized. And so you don't need to have them memorized either. It would be nice, especially for some of the ones that you're going to use a lot, like 1 foot is equal to 12 inches. 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters. Stuff like that is going to help you be better prepared for the Atlas test. But for these assignments, you don't have to have them memorized. You just need to know where to find them. So let's talk about question number 1. Question number 1 wants to know how many liters is 500 milliliters. So they give us 500 milliliters, and we need to figure out how many liters that is. How do we do that? First things first, and this is what you do every time you're setting one of these up. You are going to make this a fraction. How do you make it a fraction? You put it on top of 1. Every time, doesn't matter what it is. Make it a fraction by putting it on top of 1. Also, for every one of these problems, you are going to multiply. What are you going to multiply? I need to know milliliters to liters. So there are 1,000 milliliters in 1 liter. I want my same units to be diagonal from each other. 1,000 milliliters, so that's going to go on the bottom. So now they're diagonal from each other, and that's equal to 1 liter. Liter goes on top because it's a different unit of measurement from this one. Now that these are diagonal from each other, they cancel each other out. The only unit of measurement I'm left with now is liters. So then I can multiply straight across. 500 times 1 is 500. 1 times 1,000 is 1,000. So that's 500 over 1,000 liters. Now we have to simplify our fraction because we can't leave it like that. That's not how normal people would say that. So let's write it as a decimal. Okay. Oop. Water wants to spill. So when I have a fraction like this, it tells you exactly where the numbers go. 500 is my top number, so it becomes my dividend. 500. 1,000 is my denominator, so it becomes my divisor. And you might be thinking, hang on, the number outside is bigger than the number inside, and you would be correct. 1,000 won't go into 5, it won't go into 50, and it won't go into 500 because it's bigger than all of those. So I would add a decimal and a 0, which means I also need to add a decimal up here in my quotient. And then I pretend like this says 5,000. So how many 1,000s will fit in 5,000? 5 of them. 1,000 times 5 is 5,000. 5,000 minus 5,000 is 0. So my quotient is 5. Sometimes you won't have a fraction as your answer, so that you won't have to do this simplification. Sometimes you'll get a number on top of 1, and you can just type that top number in because it's the same thing as that. Trying to think if any are like that. Number 2 should be like that. Number 3, make sure that you get the decimal in there. Let's talk about number 4, because that one has been throwing a lot of people off. And also, you're going to have one like this on the test. So we need to know how many feet are in 3 miles. They give us 3 miles, and we need to know how many feet that is. What do I do first? I make it a fraction every time. What do I do second? I multiply. What do I multiply by? Well, I want to know how to convert miles to feet, and while I know what that conversion rate is, I don't have it on my chart. So unless you know the song, by Haywood Banks that tells you how many feet are in a mile, then you won't know what this is. So we have in our chart that 1 mile is equal to 1,760 yards. So 1,760 yards will be my top number. 1 mile will be my bottom number. So that way miles cancels out miles. Since this isn't the unit of measurement I need to end with, now I need to multiply that again by how many feet are in a yard. So that's 3 feet in 1 yard. Yards cancels out yards. It only works when one's a numerator and the other one's a denominator. If they're both numerators, you can't cancel them out. So make sure that you've got them diagonal from each other. So then we can multiply straight across. Now, since we're multiplying, multiplication is commutative, so I don't have to do 3 times 1,760 times 3. I can go ahead and combine these two 3's. 3 times 3 is 9. So when I write this out, 1,760 times 9, I'm not just getting that 9 from nowhere. I went ahead and combined these two in my head so that I could just do one problem here instead of doing this times this and then getting an answer or getting a product and then multiplying that product by this. So 9 times 0 is 0. 9 times 6 is 54. The 4 goes down and the 5 goes up. 9 times 7 is 63. And then add 5 more to that is 68. 9 times 1 is 9, plus 6 is 15. So I get 15,840. 15,840. And then 1 times 1 times 1, that's still 1. 15,840 over 1 feet, which is the same as 15,840 feet. Okay, then number 5, you're converting inches to centimeters and getting an approximate amount, but it's a lot like the other problems, so I think you can do those. Good luck.